Favorite herbs for pain relief. My absolute favorite for acute pain relief is wild lettuce. It grows as such an incredible, abundant weed around here. It's Lactuca serrata or Lactuca virosa. Um, it has a silvery color. It grows, it looks, so the Lactuca is indicating that it's part of the lettuce family. And when you look at it from the top down, it looks like a lettuce that's been a single row of leaves spread out in a rosette. So it grows as a basal rosette the first year, very flat against the ground. And then the second year, it comes up as the stem rises up and it goes to seed. It's a biennial plant. And uh, it's an intense plant. It contains what are called lactones, which are similar to opioids and how they interact with the body. They I'm forgetting the word, but they reduce the action of the central nervous system. And so they really, it's a central nervous system depressant. It slows us down so much. It's pretty wild. My favorite use for it is when there's a topical injury, like a cut or a hard bump. Pain is pretty wild because there's so many different kinds of pain. There's nerve pain, there's pain upon a blunt injury, there's chronic pain. This herb is excellent when there is an acute pain. For chronic pain, having that central nervous system depressing effect is not beneficial for a long time. But as far as acute pain, it's wonderful. Yeah, I've used it to get the medicine. It's contained all throughout the plant, throughout the leaves, and also throughout the roots. To get the medicine, you would harvest the leaf. Be really careful because there's a white milky latex that spills out. And as soon as it comes into contact with the body, it starts to be absorbed transdermally. So it will likely make you tired. And there's many different kinds of sedatives. The kind of sedation that comes along with wild lettuce is it's like any other opioid. It's total apathy, boredom, just nothingness. It reduces the mind to nothingness. Which if you've ever taken an opioid, that's how it feels. And so it's not really, I don't know anybody that's gotten hooked on it recreationally or as like the consequence of taking it medicinally. But if you get it on the skin, it'll start to slow down the nervous system, not only in that place where there will be immediate reduction in pain, but systemically. So I like to be really careful when I do that. And then I put it wherever the wound is. And it takes the pain away, sometimes within seconds, sometimes over the course of a couple minutes. And that really helps to keep it localized rather than systemic. But you can also eat the leaves. Yeah, being in the lettuce family, you might wonder, can I eat a lot of leaves? But it's not yummy. It's incredibly bitter. And of course, that feeling that you have with it, the whole systemic nervous system downregulation it's intense. It's very strong, but it does the trick. And so when somebody's been injured and they need their body to come into a slow state so that they can recover, like if you've broken your leg or you've broken multiple bones and you just can't summon the will to rest, this is an amazing plant because you, just like with other opioids, you will rest. You won't be doing anything else. It's not one to go out and keep doing the rest of your life. It takes you into that underworld space so that you can do your proper healing. And that's an amazing thing. And it grows everywhere in the Bay Area. It's identifiable by its shape, as I described earlier. It has a silvery color on the leaf. The two varieties that we have mostly growing out here, the virosa and serrata. Serrata has really strongly serrated edge like a bread knife. And virosa has little tiny serrations all along, like it's been cut with, those party scissors where it's like different kinds of cuts. Just like, and then of course, when you break it off, you'll see a little bit of white latex spilling out. And then when you flip it over, the leaf is mostly really smooth and also on the back, but all the veins have a line of hair. So a single line of tiny spikes that won't hurt you if you press into them, but it's a single line on all of the veins, particularly on the prominent center vein. Yeah, and then you've properly identified it. So the leaves are great as long as it's the right season for the leaves, which is anytime annual or biennial plant leaves are growing, which is typically late winter into mid-spring when it starts to go into flower. And at that point, the energy of the plant or the potency of the medicine dissipates from the leaves and is directed into the reproduction. So the potency of the plant, at least of the leaves, is only during a certain season. And then at that point, it's all going up into flower and into seed. And at this point, you don't really harvest the plant because we're not really looking for what the seeds or flowers have to provide. But once it's gone to seed, the energy will drip back down into the roots. And that's where the strongest medicine will be at that point. So with 99%, if not all plants, the part of the plant that is growing right now is where the medicine is. And so to get a medicine that I would use year round, or to make a medicine for my apothecary, I would wait until the roots, until the aerial parts had died back. I'd track where that particular plant is because you can't identify it. Once the leaves have all disappeared, it just looks like dirt. Yeah, you would harvest the roots and wash them off and make a tincture with them. And then I would calibrate the strength of the tincture, which is an alcohol extraction. I would calibrate that by taking a single drop in my mouth and see how that affected me, or put a single drop on my skin. So then I could learn the potency of that particular bottle's worth of medicine. Because with wild plants and plants in general, it's not like a pharmaceutical where you can really easily standardize the dose between plants, depending on the growing condition, how it was harvested, how it was processed, how it was stored. It's going to have a huge variation in the potency of that plant. So you really need to calibrate each bottle of medicine that you get, which is amazing. And that also brings us more into direct relationship with our plants. Sometimes it's hard to calibrate the potency of the medicine, but with something as strong as wild lettuce, you can feel it. If you can't feel it, you're just not doing enough. You're not taking enough. And I have never heard of anybody overdosing with wild lettuce. I mean, probably for several reasons. People don't know about it. It tastes so bitter, so strong, you wouldn't want to take more than you need to. And yeah, it's a great plant, really lovely.
Wild lettuce sounds good.
Wild lettuce.